Guys, it's Rosh, Stace and David here, all the way from Florence.
Wow.
If you're new around here, I'm Rosh, this is Stace, and we are 7 weeks into our full year of traveling around the world. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have come to the Central Market here in Florence. There's plenty of food options, definitely worth coming to. Even downstairs, there's fresh pasta that you can take home and make yourself, which I have heard is very good. And we're going to stop off for some lunch here at the Central Market. We're stopping off at Pasta Fresca. They have fresh pasta. Plenty of options in terms of pasta options, but also sauce options. And it's looking like it's only going to be about €6 each, so super affordable. Let's see how it tastes. Okay guys, we have got some spinach and ricotta ravioli with pomodoro, which is just a tomato sauce. And we got the chef's recommendation, which is a ravioli e burrata, so like a cheese-filled ravioli with olio e parmigiano, which is an olive oil and parmesan sauce. So that was the chef's recommendation on the menu. I saw lots of people getting that, so we thought we'd try that. I'm very excited. It's very good. They literally have the fresh pasta there. They cook it up when you order. Can't get better than that. So good. It's so cheesy, but it tastes so fresh. It's so soft. A+. Happy we tried this one. So good. One of the best raviolis I've ever had. And guys, it had a massive line. We waited there for about 20 minutes and I think it was worth it.
Definitely. And it's been about half an hour since we first lined up, and the line is even longer than when we jumped in it. We waited about 20 minutes, so it's actually about to hit where we're standing. So definitely a very popular place here at the Central Market.
Well guys, that was delicious. As Stace said, some of the best ravioli we've ever had. And as you exit the market, you come to the outdoor market where they have heaps of bags, you know, the typical tourist souvenirs and a lot of different types of goods. Guys, we just stumbled across a store that we normally wouldn't venture into, but they really hooked us in with the massive chocolate fountain that they had at the front of the store. It had a lot of different fine foods like pistachio biscuits, limoncello, things like that. But they also had free samples! And everybody knows that we're on a, a really tight budget. You just need to say the word free and we're there.
I'm waiting for more free samples.
The worst part is that it was really delicious, and then we obviously couldn't afford to pay for the treats, but it was a good time.
Guys, we've arrived in Piazza Del Duomo, which is the big square here in Florence and hosts some of the top sites in the city, including to my right, which is the Florence Cathedral, which is one of the most recognizable cathedrals in the world. It has an incredible big dome, which is absolutely beautiful to see from the inside. From what I've read and the photos I've seen, it's pretty crazy. So guys, the Florence Cathedral is behind me, also known as Santa Maria del Fiore, which is one of the largest cathedrals in the world. The length of it is 153 meters, which is crazy, and then it's 90 meters from floor to the top of the dome. So this thing is absolutely massive. The name of the cathedral, Santa Maria del Fiore, aka Our Lady of the Flower, alludes to the name of Florentia, aka the City of Flowers. And then behind me as well is the Baptistery of San Giovanni as well.
Now, I believe entry into the huge cathedral is actually free. However, we're not going to do it today because the line was absolutely massive, and we've got a few other things we've got to get done before it's too late. We are now strolling through Piazza Della Republica. As you can see behind me, there is a carousel and there is a huge arch behind me as well. This square marks the center of Florence. We are smack bang in the middle right now. So this square was originally the site of the city's forum and then the old ghetto. And it's famous for being a place with a lot of well-known restaurants and cafes where artists will meet up. And this particular restaurant behind me is one of the most famous ones, however, a bit anticlimactic, under construction. And of course you can't come to Florence without seeing the statue of David. This is a replica, I won't lie, but it is standing where the original once stood. It was moved in the 1800s, I believe. This is one of 3 replicas. Looks pretty lifelike to me. So we've come to Piazza Della Signoria to see this replica of the statue of David. It's another big square full of lots of different huge statues, one of which has a beheading. Gruesome, gory. He wouldn't stop staring at us before.
Guys, behind me is the Ponte Vecchio, which is apparently the only bridge in Florence over this river to have survived World War II. It is quite famous for all its shops that line the bridge, which used to be quite a common practice. We did see that in Venice as well with the Rialto Bridge, but less common practice nowadays.
And our spot that we've come to for gelato in Florence is called La Strega Nocciola, which is a recommendation from my friend. Thanks, Michelle! I've gone with strawberry hazelnut, Stace went with the chocolate and strawberry. Both interesting combinations. I already tasted it. It was pretty good, guys. It's not bad gelato at all. The hazelnut's like super creamy. Highly recommend just walking across the bridge and then maybe 80 meters down the road, you get some pretty yummy ice cream for only €3 each. That's really good hazelnut. And this place passes the TikTok test in that the gelato is in containers with lids, which is all over TikTok right now. It's apparently what you need to like search for in Italy when looking for the authentic gelato. We've had gelato from both lids and no lids. It's all been good. And guys, just for comparison, we're back on the bridge now, and there was a gelato place just back there. The cheapest one there, around the same size as the one that we got, €6.50. So more than double what we just paid, and we walked like 80 meters. And we had the gelato with little lids on, so pretty good. While we're basing ourselves in Florence, we have decided to do a really easy day trip all the way to a really recognizable, iconic structure here in Italy. We have taken a bus, a train, and then another bus to get here today. Bus tickets, we've paid about €6 each, and the train ticket, we paid €18 all up, and we've got to do all of that all over again to get home. So not the cheapest day, but you can't come to Italy and not go to the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Okay guys, as you can see, we are here with the Leaning Tower of Pisa just behind me there. Now, the Leaning Tower of Pisa sits in Pisa's cathedral complex here. There are 4 different cathedrals, with the Leaning Tower of Pisa being the most famous of them. Now, the complex it sits in is called the Piazza dei Miracoli, and again, like I said, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is the most famous of the 4. Now, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is made up of 207 columns, and it's about 8 stories tall. Construction began in 1173 and continued for around 200 years due to the onset of a series of different wars. So, went on for a very long time, and I actually believe the architect still remains a mystery, if I'm not incorrect on that one. So that's pretty crazy, given it is one of the most famous structures in the world, I would go to say. Now, getting that perfect shot here is not an easy task. For one, getting yourself lined up and that forced perspective type thing, but 2, look at all the people you have to compete with for the perfect photo spot. So it's pretty crowded here. Actually, the walk over from the station was very empty, and I was thinking, wow, this is a big change to Florence, which was very busy. Maybe it'll be okay, and then you come out to the cathedral complex and it is just hordes of people. But it's actually quite an overcast day here as well, so I can only imagine on a nicer day it would be even busier.
So it's pretty funny because Pisa actually comes from a Greek word that means marshy land. So given that the architects kind of knew that, you'd think that they'd be aware that, anything they build could potentially start to sink. But they didn't think about it, and so they started building the tower anyway. Now, the tower's foundation is quite shallow and heavy, I believe, so when they started building it and got to the second floor, it already started sinking and tilting to one side. So over the years of construction, they tried to rectify it, and if you look closely, The north side's actually a little bit different to the south side in terms of the way the arches are built and all of that. But it continued to tilt anyway, even with, I think, almost a century of construction on pause as they tried to brainstorm. Now, obviously it's finished, but now it's structurally stable, I'm told, even though every year it tilts or sinks another 0.5 millimeter. So stable, but still a little bit of movement. It's so tilted and different that there's actually a different number of stairs on the north side versus the south side because it's so tilted. Because it's obviously tilted to one way, it's not as tall on one side as it is the other.
I believe as well that over the years there have been many discussions about whether to try and straighten it and move it somewhere else. But I believe, as Rosh said, it has now been kind of stabilised in its place. So if we go a bit closer, you'll be able to see you can actually climb up the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and there will be people up the top. So I imagine if they're letting people climb up the very top, then they're pretty confident that it is stable in its place despite that lean.
And because Pisa is known as the marshy land, the Leaning Tower of Pisa is not actually the only building that is sinking / tilted. There are a number of them here in Pisa. In fact, the cathedral over there is also sinking.
I don't know if I'm being stupid, guys, but when you look at like the railing around the Leaning Tower of Pisa, it is about 5 kind of big bricks deep on this side. On the other side it's like 1.5, so it's pretty crazy.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa and Pisa in general is a good location to come to when you are in Florence. The train's only about an hour, so really easy day trip.
And that is it for our time here in Florence and Pisa. We hope you enjoyed the video. We had a very good time. We are off to our final stop in Italy today, which is absolutely crazy. Our time in Italy has flown by, but we're very excited for our next stop. So make sure you hit subscribe. We're traveling for 12 months, so you don't want to miss out on all our adventures, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.